Bears are 5-1, baby.
Oh my God! Wow!
Yo, what's up, world? Welcome back to the channel. APW Sports signing in, and the Bears are 5-1 after a 23-16 victory over the Carolina Panthers on the road. It is a ton to talk about that happened throughout this game, but before I get into that exactly, it's about 60% or 70% of the people that watch my videos that are not subscribed to the channel. So do me a favor, guys, and click that subscribe button down below, and also click that notification bell so you will not miss a single video. And I also want you guys to stay absolutely safe out there. But with all that said, without further ado, let's dive into it. Okay, the first thing is first. Both units came out and was surprisingly well with the turnover right away that led to 7 points on the throw to Cole Kmet. Number one, I've been calling a little bit for Cole Kmet to be a little bit more involved within this Bears offense. I want to see more targets towards his way. I'm glad he was able to get his first career touchdown. It was a great thing to see, especially him being a Bear fan as a child. So that is a really great thing to see. That came off of the interception by Gibson with the batted ball in the air. And the one thing I want to touch on about this game, negatively before I get into the good things, is that this Bears offensive line is god awful in the running game. And I mean god awful. It was plays where the blocks were missed, and you could see where the holes would have been at if they were able to sustain the blocks a little longer. And it was just a bad thing to see, and it enlightened me as to why Matt Nagy doesn't run the football as much as I would like to see. Is because the offensive line cannot sustain blocks and open up holes. Everybody wants to put it on Montgomery struggling, but any running back is going to struggle behind the way this offensive line played in the running game today. It was bad. And I hate to be negative towards that, but it's blatantly obvious now that you cannot run the football with this offensive line playing like that. And it was against one of the worst run defenses in the league, and you still could not muster a running game. This is troubling for me, especially with the offensive line playing the way it has. I can't even blame Nagy on that one. I cannot blame Nagy because I see it now. I see it. And I tweeted this and I posted this on Facebook. Charles Leno has to be the worst left tackle I've seen probably since Jamarcus Webb. Like, especially on that third down. I'm not going to say third down. That 3-play series in the red zone in the second half. Number one, Leno misses a block. 2, Leno doesn't hold a block. 3, Leno doesn't hold a block. Like, come on, man. As the left tackle was supposed to be your best offensive lineman. And to me, from what I've been seeing, Cody Whitehair, our center, is the best offensive lineman that we have. Because we have a backup at left guard and Coward, which even last year he struggled. And Bobby Massey has not been playing very well. So, and Fetty has been hit or miss. Cody Whitehair, for me, I think is the best consistent offensive lineman that the Bears have. And I really start to see why Matt Nagy does not run the football, because our offensive line is just not very good. I felt that would be the weakness of this Bears team coming in, one of the weaker spots, and it's showing. and it's absolutely showing. This Bears offensive line is not very good. Foles was under duress for a good portion of that game, and it's hard to really establish a really, really good rhythm when your offensive line is not necessarily holding up their blocks. And it's not like they're playing a big pass rusher type team like you want to say Tampa Bay, who has the good front four. The Carolina Panthers team front four is hampered by injuries, and this offensive line for the Bears still cannot block them. This offensive line still, let's just face it, it needs to be better. It was starts where they made time for Foles, but I just feel that this offensive line has to be better for us to even be a successful team going forward. It has to be. This offensive line has to play better. It really has to play better. Especially in the running game, especially when the weather deteriorates. It has to be better. But enough for me about this offensive line and Charles Leno being the worst left tackle in football. Nick Foles, he made some bad throws. He made some good decisions. That throw where he just threw it up in the air when the pass rush was there and the offensive line didn't block a soul. Why would you throw that ball right up in the air? That was a bad decision. You were better off just, I want to say, throwing it away. Throw that ball away and live to fight another down. You were outside the pocket. Just throw that ball away. Especially throwing that ball right after Eddie Jackson forces a fumble and Akeem Hicks recovers for us to have that good field position to start off with. That is not a time to really make a play like that because that kills the momentum just like that. Just like that. So that was another negative I want to say. Foles did not have that bad of a game, but I mean the numbers, I'm not a numbers guy if you guys really pay attention on this channel. I'm not even going to look into the stats and the numbers because I've always said they may not lie, but they do not tell the exact full story of how things went. So I'm not even going to be I'm not a numbers guy like that. I'm really not. The numbers may say one thing, but at the end of the day, Foles played a pretty solid game. He managed the game very well outside of that one horrible mistake. He made some bad throws here and there, but for the most part, Nick Foles did play some solid football. And let's give the Panthers defense credit where credit is due. They made some plays on a lot of our short passing routes. And another thing about that is you have to throw those when the running game is not there. So I honestly see more and more of why a lot of those short routes were called. I honestly see a lot of why those short routes were called because our offensive line cannot establish a full running game. And I feel that's what Nagy wanted to do, honestly. I feel he wanted to run the football a little bit more. But when your offensive line is not playing so well, you have to go away from it a little bit. So he had to make that adjustment, which I actually see was warranted. The short passing game was working. We were having some sustained drives. Jimmy Graham was a big key. And I'm glad that we was able to get Cole Kmet involved a little bit more. But it's Demetrius Harris. He and Anthony Miller were dropping the football, especially Harris. Harris had a couple of balls that were in his hands that he could not hold on to. He had a couple of footballs in his hands that he could not hold on to. And Anthony Miller on that third down, running backwards when Foles threw him ahead of the sticks. That's one of those plays where you have to be aware of where you are on the football field. You have to be aware of where the sticks are. You have to be aware of where your routes are ran and where you are currently. It's just a thing of awareness. It's not necessarily physical mistake. That was more of a mental mistake on that part. But our offense, I could see it's there. It's starting to get into some type of a rhythm. It's just the run game is nowhere to be found because the offensive line has not necessarily blocked it very well. It picked up a little bit at the end of the game, but it leads to me. It's not even Nagy's fault about not running the football so much. I really see it now. I wish they would run a little bit more different schematic ways, but it's just when your offensive line is not necessarily blocking, and I don't think that zone blocking scheme is really necessarily working for them, at least from what I see. The zone blocking scheme in the running game is not necessarily the best, at least with this Bears offensive line. Maybe some more power traps, some counters, maybe a little bit more of that. But at the end of the day, you still have to line up and block your man in front of you, which we're not doing on the offensive line. That is our weakest spot right now offensively. That and holding on to the football when they have it secured in their hands. Our offense did not look bad at all. It's just the running game wasn't there. Foles played a solid game outside of that dumb mistake, and we were able to get some things moving. It's just, number one, penalties held us back, and the lack of a running game. I feel we would have had more points on the board if we could establish a little bit more of the running game. And that's not on Nagy. I stand corrected, or at least on that front of it. It's not too much on Nagy for that. But another thing with Nagy's play calling, which it's kind of iffy at times, was that very last drive offensively for us in that fourth quarter. Our very last drive offensively, why would you not run the football on that third down? I still don't understand that. It is 3rd and 2. Why would you not run the football there? That even if you don't pick up that first down, you force Carolina to use that last timeout. And they would have to drive the ball down the field with no timeouts, with a minute or something remaining. And even when you get that first down, if you were to convert, that's the ball game right there. That is the ball game right there. I get you're trying to convert it, but it's more clock management, time management, and it's more of game management when it comes to that situation. It's more of that kind of was mind-boggling. I don't understand it right there. You run the football no matter if you get it or not, and you force Carolina to use their third and final timeout before they get the ball back on that possession. That was just another head scratcher for me. I understand the fact that you're trying to convert that, but you have to run it there. At least there, you have to run it no matter how many yards you get or if you lose any. Make Carolina use that last timeout. But overall, offensively, it was not the worst of games. I liked a little bit of what I seen of him getting in some rhythm with Foles. I like that a bit. I just feel if they were able to successfully conduct a running game, I honestly feel the Bears will have more points on the board. I honestly do. But before I even touch on this defense, I want to just touch on the referees a bit. This play calling, I said play calling, these referees were bad. I mean bad. And it's not even just on our side. It was for the Panthers side too. These referees were bad today. The one play on Allen Robinson where I forgot the corner who was that jumped over his back. That wasn't pass interference. But literally not too much later, Kyle Fuller jumps the back of the Panthers receiver and they called that pass interference. And it was almost literally the same foul on those plays. And that second foul against the Bears took away a pick six by Eddie Jackson. And it was that pass interference call on Jalen Johnson where I understand why they called it, but both players were hand fighting. So you could have called that either way. DJ Moore, they both were hand fighting. And I will be 100% honest. That roughing the passer call on Nick Foles, it was not roughing the passer. It went for us great, but I will be 100% honest. That was not roughing the passer. It was not roughing the passer. And also that personal foul on Kyle Fuller with that hit he put on a receiver. Come on. That's literally shoulder to shoulder. That is literally shoulder to shoulder. I don't want to hear that defenseless receiver stuff. It was literally shoulder to shoulder. And not only that, they had time to look over and review that, and they still got it wrong. Still got it wrong. The officiating for both sides in this game was consistently bad. The refs were consistently bad. It wasn't just for the Bears. It wasn't just for the Panthers. It was consistently bad on all fronts. It was bad. But let's get into our stout defense. It was against Carolina Panthers that was averaging really good yardage and rushing throughout the course of this year. It has some spurts where they let up a little bit of a big plays rushing, but the Panthers offense is not a very bad offense. Teddy Bridgewater is a very, very underrated quarterback. He's very good. And the pass rush had him off rhythm. Khalil Mack, Vaughters was getting in there. Mingo was making plays. You had Roy Roberts in there making plays. You had Quinn, who was a threat. You had Akeem Hicks, who was a threat. This pass rush was really teeing off on the Panthers' offensive line. And you also had some blitz packages that were working and was making Teddy Bridgewater get the ball out quickly. So overall, our pass rush, I just want to say I'll give props to our pass rush. They really threw Teddy Bridgewater off his rhythm for the majority of the football game. And our defense is stout, especially in the red zone. That one touchdown that they had rushing to Mike Davis, that should have never happened because that penalty was so stupid. And that really just killed a little bit of momentum and gave it to the Panthers right then and there. But our defense is special. Our defense is special. And to me, from what I see, it's been more of a bend, don't break type of style. It has been more of a bend, don't break type of style versus just absolute dominance. At least that's from my vantage point. Our defense has been more bend, don't break. They haven't really broken for the most part. And again, the game was mostly field goals outside of that one rushing touchdown that should have never been. The game was mostly field goals for Carolina. Once again. So, a lot of people want to say our defense has not been the same defense. I just think they play a little bit differently from what they did in 2018. It's a different style of defense I see. And Jalen Johnson and Kyle Fuller, they've been playing some really, really good football. Along with Eddie and Toshawn, they have been playing some really good football in the secondary. There have been some holes here and there, especially in some coverage busts. And we got lucky on that last drop by DJ Moore. We got lucky. I'm not even going to lie. The ball was a little bit overthrown, but it looked like he was holding on to that until it hit the ground. We got lucky on that play. I will be honest. We got lucky on that play. And the way we were causing turnovers, wreaking havoc, this defense is absolutely special. Our defense is absolutely special. Trevathan and Smith, I feel they played a bit of a better game. It's still a little bit to be answered as far as run defensively and holding on to solid tackles, but for the most part of our defense is playing absolutely good football. Absolutely good football. I love the way they fly around, they make hits, they draw the ball loose. It was a really, really solid defense today. Chuck Pagano really called a really good defensive game. In a pass-happy league, you're going to have points let up every bit. So I'm not really too much harping on that. Things are going to happen. Teams are going to have some plays here and there, especially a Carolina team, like I said, was coming into this game as a very hot football team. But they didn't play a defense that was like ours. They wasn't playing a defense like ours. This defense is special. Jalen Johnson, they did pick on him a little bit, but you're going to pick at the rookie corners. Let's just be honest. Most teams are going to pick at rookie corners. But the thing I really love about Jalen Johnson is that he has that short-term memory where he can get beat on a play and he can knock the ball away and make a play the next play. I love that about him. Have that short-term memory. You might let up a bad play here and there, but great mentality overall. And to speaking about our corners, Kyle Fuller with that tackle in the red zone on Teddy Bridgewater. That was one hell of a tackle. That's one thing that I think that gets underrated or overlooked about the game of Kyle Fuller is that he is a very good open field tackler. He tackles very well in space. He really tackles well for a corner. He's a good cover corner, and he also is a very good tackling corner, and I don't think that part of his football game gets looked at as much. So overall, it was not the best. I'm not going to say it was not a bad game overall. It's things to correct, especially with our run offense. But for the most part, this was, I feel, the best overall football game the Bears have played this year. We made some mistakes, especially that Nick Foles interception and some defensive lapses, but at the most part, this was the best game I saw the Bears play. This was the best game on both sides that I've seen this Bears team play. Run game has to improve a little bit more. Run blocking has to improve a bit more. Run defense can use a little bit of shoring up, but they did their job against a Carolina Panthers team that was really good running the football. So, Bears 5-1. I am happy as hell. I did not see this coming out of the gate. I really did not see this being a 5-1 Chicago Bears team after 6 weeks. I did not see that happening. I'll be honest, from the beginning of the year, I did not see that happening. But I am pleasantly surprised, pleasantly happy. The Bears are 6-1. Got another dub today, and I can't be any more happier as a fan of the Bears. So 5-1, great. Played today, really good. And that was just, I feel like I said, the best game the Bears have played so far this year. But that is going to do it for today's reaction. Leave a like on the video. Comment your thoughts down below of your visions and your thoughts of this Bears win today against the Carolina Panthers. And also subscribe to the channel. We are still aiming for that 1,000 subscriber mark. And I would not be in this position now without the love, the support that you guys show towards me and this channel over the past 2 years. I really want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for putting this channel in the position that it is now. I would not be at this position without you guys' love and support and encouragement to keep going. So I want to thank you guys again. But that's all I have. APW Sports signing out. Make sure you guys stay safe. Have a great and excellent day. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
I wanna say thank you to my mom and my daddy for making love the night that you had me. Wanna thank my friends, my sister, and my brother.